What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 29 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today's guest is a guest that contacted me via Instagram a few weeks back. His name is Matt Taylor, and he runs a YouTube channel called U Can Uke. He has over 400,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's got about, I think he said 10,000 followers on Instagram. And Matt reached out to me. Like I said, he had listened to the show and he wanted the opportunity the opportunity to share his story via my podcast and everything. And I was happy to reach back out to him because I checked out his Instagram and his YouTube, and I just couldn't help to notice how unique it was. Like I've never seen anyone that does he does like cover songs and tutorials showing people how to play the ukulele. He'll break it all down by the chords and by the song structure and everything. And I just thought everything, his branding was all professional, and his logo and everything is awesome. And his videos especially, I would recommend going to check them out because he really has the branding side of things really on point, and we get into that in this episode. I wanted to take this episode to kind of talk about different things we haven't talked about yet. He's our first real big YouTube musician that has been on this show, so we kind of went into detail on the importance of branding, the importance of having a niche and kind of being unique, really getting fans involved. He knows how to get fans involved in the right way. He talks about his custom ukulele that's about to launch. By the time this episode is out, it will have already been launched, where he opened up with him and another company collaborated, and they opened up the door for some of his fans to send designs in, and one of the designs got picked to be on his custom ukulele. And I just thought that was a great example of how to get your fans involved in what you're doing in a big way, and really set yourself apart from other creators, and just be as unique as possible, and really care about the human experience of everything. And I think Matt has that really on point, like I said. So I appreciated him for reaching out to be on the show. Some of this episode, I believe the last couple minutes got cut off. I edited it the best that I could. I think the outro and everything is still going to be in there. But as far as the main chunks and the main points of this episode, I think a lot of that is still in here. So I hope you guys get a lot of great information on it. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, welcome everyone to episode number 29 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today's guest is a Chicago native. He's calling from out of Arizona. He just revealed that to me. His name is Matt Taylor, and he runs U Can Uke on YouTube. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yes, man. And like I said before we were on the recording and everything, thank you for reaching out. Thank you for listening to the show and wanting to share your story. And I'm looking forward to seeing what information I can get out of you today. So to start off every episode, we kind of just have the guests go through, tell how long you've been making music, how you got into it, just kind of the basic stuff.
Yeah, so I've actually been playing music since I was 6. I started off with piano lessons, and I went through kind of this, I guess you could call it an evolution of music, because I started off with piano, and then I played other instruments like guitar, drums, violin, and then I took vocal performance classes and lessons in college, and that became my major musical vocal performance. And the ukulele kind of came into my musical journey about 10 years ago, and it was during a time when I was still in college, and I had seen a bunch of people playing the ukulele on campus, and I thought, I've never played that instrument before, and I would love to learn how to play it. And I went to this music store to buy these drum mallets for my percussion class, and I saw a ukulele on the counter of that music store, and so I just kind of out of the blue bought it as well with the drum mallets. And so that's how I started playing the ukulele. And then I remembered I didn't know anything about the ukulele. I mean, I knew some strumming patterns from the guitar, but I didn't know how to play chords or such on the ukulele. And so I actually looked up how to play it on YouTube, and that's kind of where my ukulele journey began. And then as far as starting my YouTube channel, so I started about 3 years ago, back in May of 2017. And it wasn't even a business for me. It was more of a resource to provide for my family friends. I had some nieces and nephews and some other friends that wanted to learn how to play the ukulele. And at the time, I was working a marketplace job, and I just didn't have the time to invest in all these people individually. So I put together this channel, and I posted a few videos on it. I said, hey, if you want to learn how to play the ukulele, check out my channel, look at those videos, and let me know what you think. And so they started playing those songs that I posted on my channel. And pretty soon it got a lot more attention. There was other people that were commenting and subscribing to the channel that I didn't even know. And that's when I began to put together this thought that maybe this YouTube channel could become more of a business. It could be something that is more than just a hobby or more than just a resource for my family and friends. Mm. And so I made the switch to making it become a business like 6 months into the YouTube journey. And I had these mentors at the time that they now have 4 million views. It's this big kids toy channel. It's pretty impressive. But I met them. I've known them even before their YouTube journey began, and they were the type of people that were just investing in me. They were telling me, hey, if you really want to be serious about YouTube, here's what you should consider, how to make your thumbnails, what kind of titles you need, what kind of description you need in your description box, just all the kind of basics for crafting a YouTube channel. And so I took their advice. I took the information that they gave me, and that's how I made this jump from, it was like 100 subscribers my first 6 months to 1,000 the next month. And then I had 10,000 more subscribers the next month after that. And then it just kept growing by 10,000 plus subscribers every single month. And it's now become my full-time job. I have a family. I have 3 kids and a wife. And it's been incredible to be able to do it full-time, be at home more, and actually be my own boss, have a flexible schedule, be able to do things like this, be on a podcast and not be worried about another job or something that's, taking away opportunities from me. So, and I look at YouTube as a way to give back to, because I learned music through YouTube, at least the ukulele. And so I want to pay it forward and help somebody that wants to learn how to play the ukulele through the gift of YouTube. Such a powerful tool. And I think if you have a podcast, if you want to learn how to play or do something new, YouTube is such an amazing resource that I think more people can take advantage of today. Mm-hmm. So, but that's kind of a little synopsis of my YouTube journey.
Nice, man. And that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that you kind of like built it from the ground up too, and you really had to go through like a journey to get here and to get to this point. And it kind of just started from, you didn't even know how to play, and now you're here and you're able to not only teach others, but we reach like a very wide variety of people through social media, through YouTube, and all the tools we got nowadays. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say we're gonna get into the details a little more here with the some of the questions and everything. But what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying that it's just been incredible. Even this year was when I actually made my switch to being a full-time creator, because I was doing it part-time, and then 2020 hit, and even before COVID, even before the economy shut down, that's when I decided to kind of part ways from what I was doing in my previous career and go towards being a full-time YouTube content creator. And it's just been amazing to meet all these different people, especially with this pandemic that we're in. There's a lot of people that are hurting, and a lot of people that have even jumped on board learning how to play the ukulele because it was just something constructive for them to do while being in quarantine. And yeah, there's just a lot of people who they're just looking for something, some kind of hope, something that's positive in their life. And so it's been amazing to, in a sense, not just provide information on how to play the ukulele, but just be a listening ear, be someone who they feel like can embrace where they're at and encourage them. And again, not just in learning how to play music, but really just encourage them in general, just that we're going to get through this. It's not going to be easy, but we're better together, and YouTube allows us to come together. So it's pretty amazing.
Nice. Well, you kind of just segue into my next question, which kind of relates to 2020, kind of to the craziness that's been going on this year. For you personally, what do you think? How do you think this year has been, and how have you managed maybe even in your personal life? Like, has there been any challenges you've had to overcome, or?
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of challenges because before what I was doing, so I used to work at a church and be a music director, music pastor there, and that's been kind of my career for almost 10 years. And stepping out of that field into full-time YouTube has definitely been a switch. Before, I would receive a consistent paycheck. I would know this is how I'm going to be making every single month. And, as a creator, as someone who's even just owning your own business, it kind of fluctuates from month to month. And it still pays the bills. It's still enough to really get through even this, really tough economy that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always kind of a mystery of expectation of how much you make, because sometimes you have things you want to get done. Maybe it's around the house, or maybe you have like certain dreams of doing whatever, and you know that that's going to cost certain amount of money. So there's always the difficulty of figuring out, okay, how much are we going to make this month? But and then I think the other difficulty is just not knowing, what YouTube is going to do next, because literally my living is from this platform, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I have other streams of revenue as well, but mostly it's YouTube. And sometimes YouTube, they change the algorithm, they change different features on their channels, and I have to always be learning and always educating myself on what's new, on how to continue to be beyond the learning curve. So it always is shifting, always changing, and I think that's also a positive thing for me is learning how to always be learning. It's just a great trait to have. Never settling for what you already have, but always trying to be an expert in your field. And so that's something that I've been working and learning at. It's been challenging, but I think it's also been a really positive type of building thing for me. So yeah, just always learning. I guess the great part about this season is that I don't have to, at the same point, I don't have to depend on a boss. I don't have to depend on somebody paying me a paycheck, because I've made my own opportunity. I have really opened up a door for myself to make a living. Mm. And there's a lot of people in this pandemic who were depending on a job. They got cut, they got laid off, and they're trying to find work. They might be even jumping into a new field, maybe something that will work better for them. And for YouTube, it's just different. You don't get cut off by YouTube. I mean, again, there's certain changes that the platform is going to provide, but at the end of the day, you're in control of how much you want to make. And I think that's a really, really cool thing. Mm-hmm. So, and even one more thing is how much that I'm making now. Before, I was kind of capped at a certain pay, a certain salary, and now as a full-time creator, I have the ability to get paid more and more, and the ceiling just keeps going higher and higher as far as what I can get paid, not just from YouTube, but also through different brands that I collaborate with. And I also have my own Patreon, where they have different resources, exclusive content that they can receive from me. So there's just a lot of avenues to making more money through being a full-time creator, mm-hmm. as opposed to just being capped to a certain salary at my old job.
Mm. Yeah, and it seems like the timing kind of aligned for you perfectly as far as like when it happened. It's almost like, it was kind of meant to happen that way for you, and it was kind of like a blessing that it kind of just was there, and you took advantage of your opportunities and everything. And so, like I said, I'm glad that that's going well for you, and I think it'll just keep going well, because I think you got like the branding and everything, and we're going to get into that more here in a minute. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that, you've been able to kind of move through a tough time in like a much better way than a lot of people have been able to and everything. So that's very good to hear. So as far as like the ukulele, obviously, like when you reached out to me, I'll tell you this, I thought it was very unique. I was like, I've never really seen anything like this. So I like checked out your channel and everything, and I was like, this is pretty cool stuff. For you, I know you got a lot of cover songs on there, and you kind of teach people like how to do different things. Have you gotten into any original content as well, like showing people like, I I don't know, like the different song breakdowns of like something you composed, or has it been more cover songs so far? Have you thought about doing other stuff? Like, kind of break that down a little bit for me.
Yeah, actually, this year, interesting enough, I've been focusing more on songwriting, and I've had a history of writing songs in the past, and even more for different instruments and whatnot. But this year, I felt like because now I have the time as my own creator to do my own content, I've focused even more on creating my own list of songs. And I'm actually, after this podcast, going to be going to a studio to record one of my originals. And it's definitely been an outlet that I haven't used as much on my channel, and I hope to release more original songs. So I've done some live streams on Instagram and at some ukulele festivals where I've showcased those original pieces. But as far as having some kind of MP3 audio recording that people can download or stream on Spotify or whatnot, that hasn't happened yet. And I would love to release that music first, and then if it catches wind, if there's a lot of attention drawn to it, then be able to teach people how to play it on my channel. And actually, you know what? There has been some original music that I've released on U Can Uke, but it's more of songs that I've created out of people's comments. And I don't know if you looked through my channel enough to see those videos, but I created a song out of people's YouTube comments when I think it was my 200,000 subscriber milestone, or maybe 250. But one of those milestones, I said, hey, as a way to celebrate, let's create a song together. So put in the comment section of this video just random words and random phrases, and I'll try to piece together what you've posted into a song that even makes sense. So not just a bunch of words put together, but a bunch of words that they kind of have they kind of tell a story. And it's always like a good challenge for me, because I always love to try and do something outside of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So I have that type of music already on my channel, but I'm going to be doing some more original content pretty soon. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited for people to hear it. So we'll see what comes out of it. But yeah.
That's awesome. And I know that song idea, that's kind of a really unique approach, too, to kind of do something like that. And you get, your fans involved, you get kind of your followers in there and see what they can give you, and you make a song out of it and everything. That's pretty cool.
I think it's just a great way to celebrate with them. It's not like, hey, I made 200,000 subscribers, yay me. It's more of, this is because of you. Yeah. It's because of your support. And so as a way to celebrate together, not just celebrate me, but to celebrate together, let's put together this song. And I think people like that. I think people like being included. It's not that they're just giving you the attention, but they feel good about themselves too. Mm-hmm. So, and that's always what I'm trying to present on my channel is a collaborative effort.
Yeah, so speaking of kind of getting your followers involved in what you're doing, is there any advice that you would give someone who's trying to build their YouTube up to that level? Like, what about your unique brand and how you present yourself has helped you get to where you're at, you think?
Yeah, a lot of my growth has been through collaborations, and I think that's the amazing opportunity that social media provides. Social media obviously connects people together in a virtual sense, but when you're starting a channel, or if you're starting an Instagram page, whatever it is, if you're trying to start some kind of brand, always look for opportunities to collaborate with other people. And I think it'll be amazing how you find how open people are to that. There's a lot of cross promotion. Even the fact that you and we're collaborating right now, mm-hmm. right? I'm on your podcast, and you're kind of also, in a way, promoting me on to your audience. There's a lot of cross promotion that happens on there. And anyway, that's how my YouTube channel grew. I had different ukulele brands that reached out to me when I was starting, and they had noticed my videos and said, hey, we really love your content. Would you consider playing our ukulele on your YouTube channel? And so I agreed. I said, yes, absolutely. I mean, I was starting up, and to get some kind of offer from these ukulele companies, and I was even doing it for free. It wasn't like they were paying me, but I said, yeah, I would love to just be in connection with you. And so I would record videos with these different brands ukuleles, and then they would repost my videos on their social media. And so I had a lot of their audiences becoming onto my channel. So definitely collaborations is I think a big opportunity to grow. And a lot of people think, well, if I'm on YouTube, I need to compete against another channel, right? If I'm teaching ukulele, I should be competing against another ukulele channel. But it's actually, you should actually follow the opposites. If there's another ukulele channel or whatever you want to be invested into, whatever your niche is, really think about reaching out to that other person. Say, hey, we do the same thing. I would love to reach your audience with what I can provide, and I would love for you to also have some exposure to my audience through what you can provide. And so you're just building a network. You're building each other up, and it's just better doing things together with other people. So collaborations are a big deal if you want to grow on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or any other social media platform out there.
I feel like people forget too that like relationships is how it starts. You know what I mean? Like without that relationship to begin with, you're not going to build anything anyway. Like if you're trying to get to like a certain level, and you're trying to attract other people that are, doing the same thing. Like if you don't have the relationship to begin with, you can't just be like, well, give me this. Like I just want you to give me something, but I'm not going to help you in return. And like things like that. It's kind of like you gotta bring something to the table too. You know what I mean? And like talk to the right people. So I think people just want to skip the steps sometimes. I think like you understand that there's no skipping the steps. You actually have to like take your time, build the relationships, and then like see where that goes from there, and just keep doing it.
And there's a lot of power into providing a service for free. Mm-hmm. I have a ukulele brand that sponsors me. Their name is Flight. They're based in Slovenia. And 2 years ago, I actually had reached out to them. I said, hey, I'm this ukulele YouTube channel that has this much followers, and I've really seen your stuff around Instagram. I'd be interested if you'd be, willing to collaborate with me, be able to send me some kind of like ukulele. I'd be happy to, promote your brand, promote your product on my channel for free. And they were so happy to do that. Other people might say, oh, you should have charged them to promote their product on your channel. No, if you start just by doing stuff for free, you begin to build relationships with those people, because then they see you not as someone who's trying to take advantage of them, but as someone who really offers quality things and really cares about their brand. And eventually, not 100% of the time, but eventually most brands will want to do further collaborations with you. And so Flight, they're actually a brand. Again, they sponsor me. I get paid a certain flat check from them every single month. And I don't think that opportunity would have happened had I not reached out to them and say, I would love to provide a service to you for free by promoting your product on my channel. Mm-hmm. So a lot of power in just doing things for free, even just in life. That's just, I think, a really powerful tool. Do something for free, build that relationship, and then in turn, that person might reciprocate a service to you that will benefit you, even if it's making a living.
Adding value is so important. Like I feel like, like I said, I feel like people just don't always understand. They just want to skip right to the like big money, this, and this. But like, especially if you're just starting out and there's a lot of other people and like you're trying to separate yourself a little bit, make yourself unique. I feel like that's very important. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So you talked a little bit about your Instagram as well, and I've been through your Instagram, and I love like how like the aesthetic is and all like your thumbnails and everything. So how active are you over there to be able to push people to your YouTube? Like, is there a specific strategy you're using as far as let's just take Instagram as an example. I don't know if you're on like other social platforms heavy, but how are you using Instagram to kind of direct people to your content on YouTube?
Yeah, so my content, so first off, I'm on Instagram, I try to keep it balanced, but every single day. I try to upload stories on a daily basis, and as far as my feed, I post 4 videos or 4 pieces of content every week on my feed, and it usually is a switch between tutorial, then some kind of image or cover post, and then another tutorial, and then another image and cover post. And it just helps to build that kind of aesthetic. It's kind of, if you go on my Instagram page, it looks like a checkerboard where you have my tutorials and then the other posts in between. And really, the content that I post on there is just repurposed from my channel. I mean, there are some unique content that's on my Instagram, but a lot of the tutorials that I upload on my Instagram page have already been on my YouTube channel. They're just kind of consolidated. They're trimmed to like a minute long, to fit in the regular Instagram feed. So I try not to do too much more than I'm already doing now. I want to really value my time. And so if I've already done a tutorial for YouTube, I don't want to recreate the wheel by trying to create a separate tutorial for Instagram. I'm just going to take that video that I've already uploaded to YouTube and edit it to a minute long, post it on Instagram, boom. Now you've been able to repurpose, save a lot of time, and provide value to your Instagram audience. So that's what I like to do. But like I said, I do put some unique content on Instagram as well, some other covers. Again, I do a lot of collaborations with other artists as well. And so not every month, but sometimes, a few times during the year, I'll collaborate with other ukulele artists or other big name music artists in general. And that will fit into my feed. Instagram is an amazing tool also for connecting with people. I think even more so than YouTube. I mean, YouTube is great. You can comment with people, but the messaging opportunities of Instagram really allow you to build relationships. And so that's what I've been able to do. And I mean, I have my own Patreon page, which if somebody listening to this podcast isn't familiar with Patreon, it's basically a third-party website where you can offer certain perks and benefits. For me, it's exclusive resources like chord charts and other content, other videos that aren't on my YouTube channel. And so that gives them a reason why they would invest in my Patreon. But I use Instagram to basically funnel people to that site as well. And yeah, I mean, I love Instagram mainly because it's a relationship tool. And my following on Instagram isn't as big as my YouTube channel. With my YouTube channel, I have 432,000 subscribers, and my Instagram page just barely hit 10,000 followers, which is still a lot for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But I would love it to be a little bit more similar to that following. But I just continue to grind, continue to work hard at it. But at the end of the day, try to figure out how to be efficient with my time. And that's kind of what I want to do is not work so hard where I'm taking the long road, but work hard and yet figure out what's the most efficient route to, building my Instagram and my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with the the repurposed content because I don't know if you know who Adam Ivy is, but I was in he's you should look him up. He's into a lot of stuff I think you're into because you're already saying a lot of stuff I hear from him. He's like a music marketing guru on YouTube and everything, and he teaches a thing called the Sell Music Masterclass, and it teaches people online how to kind of generate income and do music full time and things like that. And a lot of the stuff you already know, I can already tell you have the base knowledge of that. He takes that, and that's kind of what he does and everything. So I'm familiar with kind of what you're talking about with that and everything.
But I'll definitely have to check him out.
Yeah, man. And I think just what you said, it's more of building the connections too, because this is exactly how this podcast is happening. You reached out to me on Instagram, and then we just went back and forth, and now here we are talking. You know what I mean? And that was all through that. So I think what I've learned too, just from the last couple of years trying to build a following and fans and stuff, is just you can use each platform differently too, you know what I mean, to kind of get people to view your content or become fans and things like that. So it's really all just in how you want to use it and what you're trying to do for your own situation. So
yeah, and going back to your other question, because you were saying how do I make the connection between Instagram and YouTube. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times, my stories, I'll post that my tutorial is up on YouTube. If you want to see the full version of it, go check out my YouTube channel, and I have that swipe up feature so people can go right to my channel from Instagram. But yeah, and then again, the beauty of repurposing content, especially if you're doing YouTube videos, and you're just consolidating them to a minute long, is you give people a sample, kind of a little taste of what they could experience in the full version of your YouTube channel. So
it's like a teaser.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
like a teaser. And I actually did that with my ukuleles, my signature ukulele that I'm launching this Saturday, where I put out a teaser, kind of a trailer for people to know that, hey, I have this signature ukulele coming out this weekend, and I'm going to be posting on YouTube the kind of review of it. What's it look like? What does it sound like? They can find that on my YouTube channel, but at least on Instagram they have a teaser just to get their feet wet and just to let them know that something is coming. So yeah, Instagram, love the tool. We got definitely got. I got to find a balance of not abusing it, not being on it too much, because you can really get sucked on there for
Mm.
hours. Um, you know, just scrolling.
Yeah. It gets overwhelming sometimes, especially lately with all the stuff going on, but just find that
Yeah,
balance for sure. Uh, so, what do you think when you do your tutorials, right? What do you think is your favorite part about doing that? Like trying to teach people how to play? Like, let's just say that. What is your favorite part about trying to teach people how to play ukulele?
I think my favorite part. It's really hard to define what specific part of the process is. I mean, I think just when I'm recording and I'm just breaking down a song. I mean, the way I break it down is I break it down with the chords and then the chord progression and then the string pattern. So it's really just like a step by step process of how to play. But for me, um, the excitement is just knowing that somebody who wants to play the song is going to be able to learn how to play it very easily. Because I know when I'm learning something new, so for instance, let me just provide an example. I'm not by nature a handyman. I never grew up learning how to fix things with tools and whatnot, and so YouTube has really filled in the gap for me as far as receiving that knowledge of how to replace a bathtub, which I already did this year, how to put on tile and a backsplash, and how to remove and replace a vanity in your bathroom, right? I received all that information from YouTube. And so I know that I appreciate videos that just break things down step by step, that don't assume that you already know how to do this and use terminology that goes over your head, just very basic layman's term. I appreciate tutorials like that. And so I know for a viewer that might not be either musically gifted or they just may not be naturally gifted in playing the ukulele, that they're going to want some kind of tutorial on how to play a certain song, how to play a certain string pattern, or what have you, in a very basic way. I know that feels good for me, and so I get really excited when people can turn on the switch and the light bulb go off, and they get it,
Mm.
because the content is so broken down and easy for them to digest. So that for me, that's like the really exciting part
Mm.
about the tutorial. Um, Obviously, when you finish the project, when I'm editing it and it's completely done, like, it feels great. It's just a great relief. Um, and I would say the other exciting part is when I have it already uploaded, and then just seeing people's comments, seeing them say that it's really helped them. I think that really feels good, and just it makes me believe that what I'm doing is worth my time.
Mm.
That I'm not just posting videos up there, but people are seeing them and they're taking it in, and it's really helping them on their musical journey.
Mm.
So yeah,
Nice.
that's the exciting part about being in YouTube.
Yeah, just from an outsider's perspective, I checked out like some of your videos, and I can tell you make it pretty easy to like break it down and everything. Like you know exactly what you're talking about. You can tell like you've actually had the experience to like teach and everything. And I think I checked out one of the Ed Sheeran ones, and I was like, oh yeah, he like breaks down the chords and everything, and like makes it pretty simple. So if you wanted to like learn it, you could just sit there and watch your videos and just figure it out as you're going. So
Yeah.
it's really awesome. Um,
Which Ed Sheeran song, by the way, did you look
Oh
up?
man, I forget. This was like 3 weeks ago when we were talking the first time. I think it was like one of the last ones you post. It was like up toward the top of the page, so it had to have been within the past few months. I think
Was it perfect?
it might have been perfect. Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Yeah, that was the video that really helped my channel take off. After I started applying all the information that my YouTube mentors told me. So, and that one definitely gains a lot of attention too. So, yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Nice. So let's stick with kind of the video making process a little bit. I know that in the age of social media, it's important to put yourself out there and kind of, kind of get on camera per se and kind of let your fans know who you are. is there any advice that you would give any musician about being on camera? Like, say someone's camera shy, or they're a little bit like, oh, I don't know, I don't look good on camera, this, that, and the third, whatever. Is there any advice you'd say to kind of get over that if they can, and kind of just be more comfortable with putting themselves out there?
Yeah, I always go back to the why of what I'm doing. And what I mean is, why am I investing in YouTube? Why am I recording myself in front of a camera and teaching people how to play the ukulele? Why is this something that I'm making my living off right now? I think when you understand the why, that really motivates you, or it helps you to kind of jump over that barrier, that fear of not being able to perform. Because at the end of the day, I guess the way that I think how valuable I am isn't dependent on how many people follow me. It's not the fact that I have 36 million views and 432,000 subscribers on YouTube, even though that is a lot, and even though that is kind of evidence that I am providing value to people, because then those kind of numbers wouldn't come into my channel. But at the end of the day, I could lose my voice. I could get in a car accident. Something could happen to me where my ability to play and sing could go away. And then what am I left with? What kind of value do I provide people at that point? So I try to always stay humble, and I always try to remind myself that at the end of the day, I'm valued not because of what I can provide, but because I've been created, and that I'm loved, and that's what keeps me grounded. And if I lose like 432,000 subscribers, like, that's not going to change the way that I value myself. So, and I think that's actually a really good mindset to have, because sometimes people, especially when you're growing on YouTube, and you kind of look at what's the rate that you're growing at. For me, I was growing 25,000 new subscribers earlier this year because of COVID happening. And then as soon as that number dropped to 10,000 a month again, because, people could start working, people could get out of their house, my value of myself and the way I see myself didn't change, because I knew, I'm still making a difference. So yeah, but I think that's how a lot of creator burnout happens, is you're kind of wondering, like, why aren't people following what I'm doing? Why don't people like me? Have your own self-confidence. Really respect yourself and love yourself first. Because then when you try to put yourself out there and potentially receive love from other people, at least you have love for yourself that's keeping you grounded. And that's what's kept me grounded, and not having an overly inflated head, even though my following continues to grow. So that's just some I guess, word of advice for the listeners.
Yep. That's where it starts too, so that's very important. Well, Matt, man, I gotta say, this was probably the most unique episode. You're probably the most unique guest. I appreciate you sharing all your stories and everything, and I'm wishing you luck on growing your channel, on the ukulele launch. I'm wishing you luck on everything, man, because you're headed in the right direction, and I can already tell you got like the base knowledge. Like, as long as you keep going, you're going to keep growing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do, man.
Yeah, and for you, Anthony, because I love the podcast, you're really providing a lot of value to people as well. I hope that it gets to a point where you can do it full time, because I think there's a lot of great opportunities in doing a podcast full time. And so yeah, I just hope that you just continue to keep at it. And I know there's a lot of other people that are going to be on the podcast that you're going to be featuring, and so yeah, I just hope. I know that this will be something that will carry you for a while.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated. And hopefully we can do this again sometime, maybe in person. I don't know, maybe in the next few years.
Yeah, that'd be great. Man. Yeah, even if it's not like on a recording, I'd just love to just meet you in person. And you're only 2 states away from me, so that'd be awesome.
Thank you guys once again for listening. That was episode 29. We only have 2 more weeks of guests, and then we'll have our surprise episode to finish the year off before we get into 2021 with a lot of new guests and a lot of new great episodes for you guys. As always, hit that support button on your podcast streaming platform if you want to send any funds. I'm looking forward to 2021, to get a full year of doing these episodes and see what kind of guests we can get on here. So until next week, we'll see you then.